Hello and welcome again. In today's video we are going to talk about improving your English skills. Learning English is like the first step to learn another language, and also it kind of helps you to understand how you're supposed to learn a language, because for most of us English is the first foreign language that we learn. But please just don't get annoyed at me when I say I did this in Spanish, I did this in French, because I have to mention my experiences with other languages as well, because I don't know, the last time I studied English was probably like 5 years ago, so I know how you can improve your English, but in order to provide you with some concrete examples, I should refer to other languages as well. And before someone out there is waiting with the biggest selbstbewusstsein sign to write under this video that my English sounds weird, I know you don't have to write that, but it's just that, I don't know, I don't really pay attention to the way I speak English, and it's kind of a mix of all the other languages that I speak, So first, starting how I learned English. Well, in Turkey, in most of high schools and universities, there is a preparation year, so you're going to study for 5 years at either high school or university, and the first year will be dedicated to language learning. In the first year of high school, I studied high school for 5 years, and in the first year I studied only English, and that was mainly how I learned English. But before that year, I actually knew English, and when I took TOEFL before starting high school, my level was B1. And then after the preparation year, my level was B2. I participated to some events in English, some conferences and some debates and everything. So it kind of just gave me the confidence to speak English and to produce something in English. To start with, if your goal is to sound more natural in English, or basically, if you like to sound like as if you're not thinking at all about what you're going to say, first thing that you're going to do is paying less attention to grammar. You will have to study the rules. Just know what they are and then stop studying them. For example, if you like to learn a new tense in English, just go and watch a few videos about it and then do some exercises and done. Literally, that's all you have to do. Because if you continue obsessively studying it, it won't make things any better. For example, in case of English, maybe past perfect continuous tense says nothing to you, and I completely understand. But when you see I had been doing as a structure, that should remind you of something. I suppose that you have memorized good examples in each tense, so you know actually why they are used for, and that's the only way you will start using them correctly in your speeches as well. Second thing is, if you like to sound better in English or in any other language that you're learning, learn synonyms, because synonyms are literally the cornerstones of vocabulary learning. So always try to learn new alternatives to the words that you have been using. But also keep in mind that not all the synonyms are supernatural and they won't always be necessary during daily speeches. For example, at my Spanish and French exams, there is both a section where you have to either listen to or read something and then make a speech about it for a few minutes. And here the most important thing is the synonyms that you're going to use, like how much you're amplifying the structures and the vocabulary that you employ in your speech. So if you just go and say the expert thinks that, it's a big no for these exams. In daily life you would probably say the expert thinks that, but no, in the exam you're going to say the expert affirms that, the expert highlights that, and you should also know 5 different words to define the expert, because if you always say expert, that's another problem. As I said, that's maybe not essential to know a bunch of synonyms, but if you like to sound more advanced, then that's literally the key. Another point, which is the most helpful thing ever with language learning, is AI. You can do everything with artificial intelligence, and ChatGPT is literally the best tool that you can train to use while you're learning languages. With some special prompts that you're going to use, you can actually make from ChatGPT a tool that can help you with pretty much every aspect of language learning. For example, you can just go to ChatGPT and say, I wrote this phrase, I wrote this text, and I just wanted to sound more advanced, or I wanted to sound more sophisticated, I want you to use new vocabulary, and believe me, it's going to do everything that you ask for, because it's literally a language model. And now, as another point, I'd like to talk about pronunciation. As I said, it's not essential to always sound like a native without having the slightest accent of your native language. It can be super hard, but the thing is, you're supposed to sound accurate in a foreign language so that your speech is understandable. As we were talking about artificial intelligence and how it could help you to learn languages, did you know that artificial intelligence can also help you with improving your pronunciation? Well, then I want to mention this video's sponsor, ELSA, because it's an app that actually uses artificial intelligence to help you detect your pronunciation mistakes by comparing them to a native speaker, and then helps you with further improvement of your pronunciation. But that's not the only way it helps you, because you can also learn new vocabulary and phrases and also get access to a learners community feature on this app. It also currently includes more than 1,600 lessons and 40 real-life topics for you to practice your pronunciation. So now we are going to see with an example how ELSA can help us to improve our English pronunciation using the AI. So first I'm listening to this sentence.
I'm going to keep this brief.
Okay, now we are repeating it so the AI can detect our speech. I'm going to keep this brief. So I have some mistakes here, for example, while saying going.
My talk is divided into 3 main parts.
My talk is divided into 3 main parts. So at the end of the talk, I had a mistake.
Talk.
Talk. So it's basically related to the K sound that I couldn't pronounce quite accurately. If you also like to improve your English pronunciation using ELSA, I have good news for you, because using the QR code on the screen and also the first link in the description, you can download the app for free and get a 7-day pro membership at no cost. And the second link in the description will provide you with an exclusive discount of 40% for a yearly subscription and also 85% of a lifetime subscription, saving you $400 in case you choose to buy it. For more information, please visit the description of this video. The thing that I'm now going to mention is like the most crucial thing that's always ignored, because you will always see people on TikTok who are like, I don't even remember how I learned English. It's just that someday I just woke up and I knew English. So weird, right? I must be super intelligent. But somehow it doesn't happen with German. I don't understand. It's just that you didn't learn English that randomly. You just think you did that. They act like they never took a single English lesson, they never studied a single grammatical rule, they just deleted everything from those times, and then they act like they never spent hours on internet consuming content in English, or being in a fandom of a random celebrity, or watching TikToks for hours, watching Netflix shows in English. They just delete all of these things and they just come to tell you, oh, you know what? Someday I woke up and I was speaking English. That's literally what language learning is. If you are not doing any of these, you won't ever start speaking a language. And that's also the reason why many people out there just successfully learned English but not another language, because none of you want to watch TikToks in German. That's the problem. Or none of you want to listen to French music. So, as you can understand from this point, if you like to finally start speaking English, please make sure that everything you watch, you read, you listen to is in English. So I'm sure you already have a lot of artists that you like, you already have a lot of songs, like most of your favorite songs are probably in English. So just try studying them. Try to pay attention to grammatical structures that are used in those songs, and that's actually like a way of practice, and that's probably the best way of practice because it requires super little effort, but at the end all the results are like super permanent in your brain, because songs are like, they just stay in your brain, and if you use that for language learning, that's literally the best thing you can do. So now, if you actually know what you're supposed to do to improve your English, but the problem is you just not having the motivation to do all that, like if you're just like, I can't really bother to improve my English, I have the best tip for you. Take a language exam. For me, it was the same with Spanish. Like, no one could say that I didn't speak Spanish because I literally could read a book in Spanish. I could watch a documentary in Spanish, like, with no problems. But the thing is, I don't want to study this thing, or I literally don't want to learn anything else in Spanish. That was my problem. So I said, I'm going to take a C1 exam, and I studied Spanish for like 2 or 3 months. And believe me, I learned stuff that I would literally not ever learn otherwise. So if you feel like your English is already good, like you pretty much know all the grammatical things, you have a lot of vocabulary, you can talk about different topics, like learning English is not a problem for you, but you would like take it to next level, you would like to enhance your skills, but the thing is, you just don't want to bother for this, take a language exam. you just kind of have a super complete view of the language while you're preparing for the exam, and I really appreciate this, and that's probably the reason why this year I'm taking 5 language exams, because like I feel like I just speed ran the entire Spanish language in like 3 months, and that was a perfect experience. And right now my Spanish is like the best it has ever been, and you should try it for English. And when it comes to this, I think you're super lucky, because unlike all the other languages, to practice English, you don't have to look out for a native like necessarily. But when it comes to other languages, you're like, but how to find a Russian speaker? I understand, but for English, you don't have such problems. Literally, all the social media, all the songs, all Netflix, everything is in English. And if you're still not improving any of it, I'm sorry to say that, but it can be your problem. Like, I would perfectly understand if someone said that they have problems improving their Dutch, because there are like literally 3 YouTube channels talking about it, but you're literally learning English. Make some efforts. I can make 50 videos about learning English, other polyglots can help you with this, your teacher can help you with this, but if you're not going to do any of these, like if you're not ever going to make efforts to actually improve your English, then you're not going to improve it. And my last tip can be super controversial, because if you like to improve your English, please go and learn another language. Because that's the best thing that you can do to your English. Like, because I have a lot of followers who are saying, my English is B2, but I'm not sure if I should just go and start learning Spanish at this point. Like, my English is not even perfect. Yes, you're right, you still have a lot to learn, but please go and learn Spanish, because it's going to help you with your English a lot. Learn something else using English. Like, if you're interested in story, just go and look out for English resources to learn it, because while doing that, English is only going to be a tool. Learning another language or something else using English reduces a lot the amount of attention that you give to English, which improves your English level. The grammar, like, there is no way that you are mastering the French grammar without also mastering the English one, because your brain creates connections. So please listen to my tip, and if you like to learn any other language, please start right now. This is the best thing that you can do to your English. My English is A2, my English is B1. If you can understand instructions in English, you are okay. You can learn German, you can learn Finnish, you can learn anything you want. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have some resources to recommend, if you have anything else to say, please write them in the comments. And you can follow me on social media, and you can watch my other videos about language learning, and see you on another video. Ciao!